Hello, mindful friends. Today we're going to be talking about beginning anew and how we can use the start of a new year to return to our true essence and who we really are at our heart center. So we can often look at the new year as a time to set goals for ourselves or the resolutions that say, what do we want to change about ourselves? We look into it as finding what's wrong with what we're doing or who we are, our habits, and then creating kind of shifts or what we're going to change in ourselves, which is not a bad thing, but depending on how we look at it, can sometimes be rooted in judgment of self. So judging who we are, judging how we're showing up, and then kind of labeling that as bad or good, and making almost a battle with the things that we label as bad, and then how are we going to change those? And now we put pressures on ourselves to alter those or shift those sides of ourselves, and we can sometimes feel disappointment if we don't follow through. So if we can't arrive at that, which leads to then more judgment. So how I like to look at the new year and this opportunity of beginning anew is in a more accepting way, in a more loving way. That it's more about returning to who we already know that we are. So I look at us as these beings who all have the same heart center. So we're of this nature that I think is kind of the driving life force, the driving energy of all of life and the whole planet and the world and the cosmos, which is true essence of the strongest, most powerful energies in the world. The love, the compassion, the acceptance, gratitude, peace, and that we all have the capacity to engage with those within ourselves, to harness them within ourselves, and that they're always present. So anytime that we are beginning anew, to me, it's more of a remembering and a reconnecting with who we really are. So it's like a returning back home to our true essence. And so instead of focusing on what we're not doing right or what we'd like to change or judging what's not going well in our lives or our habits, instead we focus on who we are at the heart center. We focus on remembering the good within ourselves. So we turn back inward. We say, okay, I'm beginning anew in this new year, whenever it is, whenever you want to kind of feel that shift, start again. We set the intention. We're beginning anew, and we turn inward and we say, okay, who am I really at my heart center? And what do I really want to engage with? So what are those energies, those attitudes, those beliefs that are going to serve me really well, that are going to help me show up as the best version of myself and to experience life in a really positive, healthy manner? And we remember that this is always accessible to us. It's like we've talked about before, the seeds within us, that we have all of them within our core, the seeds of happiness, the seeds of love, but also seeds of anger, seeds of sadness, and whichever ones grow are the ones that we feed. So this remembering and this beginning anew is returning to that little seed garden and saying, okay, I know I have these energies within me. I know it is my true nature to be able to cultivate love and compassion and kindness and goodness. And so what am I going to choose to water in this next phase or as I begin anew and move forward? What am I going to feed? Where am I going to place my energy? And those are our intentions for what am I cultivating within myself that then I know I'm going to be able to go and share out with the world. So we're placing our intention and our energy towards the goodness within us, that I know it's there. They're in, those seeds are in every single one of us, no exception. What are you going to feed? So we set that intention. I'm going to feed these energies within me, and these are the ones that I know need a little bit of strengthening. So if we feel in our lives, we've been feeling a little bit down or a little bit glum, or we've been having a hard time engaging in positive energies, we identify which one of those good seeds within us could really use some extra love and care. So that when we're creating this shift, it's out of loving self, compassion for self, remembering the good in self. So it already starts with a really positive, loving relationship to self. I know that you're good. I know that we can do this. I know that these energies are within you. So it's like such a shift between when we start the new year or like resolutions with judgment. You're bad at this, or you're doing this wrong, and then this needs to change. No, instead we start with the love. I know you're good. I feel this in you. This is what can grow, and this is how I know you can shine your true essence forward. So we're starting with love. And then we have that intention. We're going to feed this goodness within us. And we start thinking about what are all the ways that I can start feeding the good. And these can be self-care practices. You can reach out to support, to the people that kind of bring out those good qualities in you. Doing activities in nature, or reading certain materials that kind of enhance those beliefs within you, those thoughts within you, speaking in ways, talking in ways that reinforce the goodness. So you think, what are the ways that I can actively cultivate this energy? So now we're actively feeding the good seeds. And now we want to look into what can I let go of that sucks energy from the good. So, we have all this energy that we can place where we'd like in life. And sometimes that energy is going towards things that don't serve us well. So whether it's like feeding the ego, feeding the pride, self-protect, it's creating an image for ourselves, or whatever it is, there's always a little something that we're putting energy towards that might be detracting it from this essence of who we are. So at the same time as intentionally engaging in and feeding the good, we also let go of the things that aren't really serving us, the things where we're putting energy in, but it's not feeding our heart center very much. But when we do this, it's not out of a battle. It's not fighting those things within us. It's a very gentle letting go. I acknowledge you don't feed me, you don't serve me well, so I'm going to stop watering you. I'm going to stop engaging in the conversations that feed you. I'm going to stop engaging in the activities that enhance you or grow you in my life. So it's just a letting go. And then anytime that you kind of see the tendency to go back towards that, you're doing something that feeds it, it's a noticing and acknowledging and a letting go. And so we gently let go of those things as we continually turn back and reinforce that positive. So remembering what we're feeding, those things we decided that we're going to help grow and cultivate. And as those are growing, it's an exciting thing to think about, how can I share that out with the world? So if it's growing within me, how does it help me to show up for the world in better ways? Who am I serving, or how am I sharing this with others? And then it helps us to see how we are showing up as the best version of ourselves out in the world. So I invite you in this new year to look at it as a beginning anew and start by developing a really positive relationship with self, remembering your true nature. Approach it with love and kindness. Feed the good things. Find your ways of engaging with those, coming back to them, returning to them, watering them, at the same time as you let go of the things that don't serve you, where you're putting energy towards things that kind of suck you dry rather than feeding the heart center. And then continually returning to feeding the good, and then seeing how you can share that with the world and show up as the best version of yourself. If you enjoy these little talks and would like to join us for a group session or individual coaching, please look us up at newleafmindfulness.com. And if you have comments, questions, or ideas on different topics, you can write them in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I hope to see you all very soon.